Hey, you guys, welcome to Moms in Real Estate. I'm Kristen Cantrell.
I'm Angela Fazio. Our guest today is from the Charlotte area. Her name is Laurie Plyler, and we're so excited to have her on.
Yeah, so she's going to be talking to us about building not only a big business, but a big life. So, Laurie, tell us all about yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited to be on. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. This is such an honor, and hopefully, I can be of inspiration today. A little bit about me. I've lived in the Charlotte area since 2001. So at this point, I've lived here longer than where I grew up in the mountains of Appalachia. And been in real estate since the end of 2020. My background before that, I built a huge business in the network marketing world for 16 years before deciding to make a transition and team up with my husband in real estate. And so now we have been just really having a lot of fun building momentum in our business, building our team. And we have two little ones, a 4-year-old little boy named Granson, and our little girl is 1. Her name's Caroline. We're really passionate about living our life with our faith and our family as the center, and then career weaving in around it.
I love that. I love how you consistently use that word, weaving your family into your business too, which I find I love the mental image that I get from that.
Yeah, it's a good visual.
It really is.
And that's really better than saying balance in your life.
Mm-hmm.
The weaving is actually far more accurate than balance. Ooh,
well, and you know how people forever have said leave work at the door when you come home, right? And I think that in real estate, and go ahead and share your experience with it, it's just not possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I definitely agree. Balance doesn't exist. It's not a thing. You're always going to be, focusing. It's almost like you think about, it's more like walking versus balance, right? It's going back and forth between things, and compartmentalizing you can to a degree, but in real estate, it really is something that becomes a part of your life. And I think in everything that you do, and I think it's because the nature of the industry, you are helping families and people with the biggest transaction of their lives. And so it's not like a 9 to 5 type of a transaction. You really are walking through that with them all the time. And I think with our family, we've really shifted our perspective on that. Instead of fighting against that and trying to keep these crazy boundaries of, oh, now work is turned off and we won't answer a phone call. We think about it more like we're present with our kids when we're with them, but we also want them to see us work and be incorporated in the family business. So they value that and see how it contributes to them in their future as well.
Oh my gosh, I love that. My husband and I were talking just yesterday about a very similar thing, because we are starting, because our kids are 11 up to 31. I've got 6 of them. Wow, and my 22-year-old had made some comments that made us go, oh my gosh, they do listen. Like they're paying attention. And we don't even want to compartmentalize. That doesn't even make sense to me to compartmentalize. That's work. This is, God, whatever. So that is so encouraging to hear you put it in a way that can be spoken a little better than the way that whole weaving idea is really, it feels good. It feels more attainable than balance, right?
Mm-hmm. Have you always been like that? Because even with, being a top salesperson, recruiter at a network marketing company, I'm sure it was very similar to being a real estate agent, right?
It was. I do think that in real estate, I do life with my clients a little bit more than in network marketing. Not that I didn't, because, a lot of the people that I trained in network marketing became some of my very best friends, but it was a little bit easier to compartmentalize because it was just a different type of a transaction in someone's life, right? But I will say that was a big learning curve for me. I definitely was not, even though we don't want to use the word balance, I wasn't as balanced now versus then. I used to be a real workaholic. And I remember for a long time, I didn't even want to have kids. And it wasn't that I didn't like kids. I was afraid to have kids because I felt like, how could I possibly have a successful career and a happy family? You can't possibly have both. And it wasn't until I started to work through that and learn how you can have everything all at the same time. And it doesn't have to be these crazy boundaries and so cut and dry that I figured out a way to kind of have it all. That's kind of my mantra these days is I want two things, it all.
Can I ask you a question about that? Because when you say you had, you were like, I'm a workaholic and I was kind of afraid to have kids. Why was that? Do you think it was because you had a picture in your mind of what being a parent should or, would look like, and it turned out to be, well, that's not true. Don't put me in that box. Or was it something different?
I think it was really honestly, if you were going to drill down to it, kind of about scarcity mentality without realizing it. I was a workaholic, I thought, because like at the time I valued that. I was like, oh, I'm such a hard worker. No one will outwork me. And I sacrificed all sorts of family time, even before kids, in the name of work. And in hindsight, what I didn't realize was I was doing that because I was fearful that if I didn't work, then everything would fall apart and we wouldn't have the business and the opportunity that I was working so hard for. And so having kids meant I knew how much I value family. And if I had kids, that I would want to be a very dedicated mother and be very invested. And I knew that time would take away. So it was really fear-based mentality, which is so crazy when you think about it. With working hard can be really healthy, but you have to work hard with an abundant mindset, knowing that you can create systems to let your business go and set you free.
Yeah, and you mentioned that before. Tell us more like about working, smarter, not harder, and how you can build this business that you want to build and make it to where it's duplicatable.
Yeah, so I think for me and hope, I don't know, maybe a lot of other women, one thing that I could get stuck in and have gotten stuck in the past is that feeling of like needing to do it all, right? Like if it's going to be done right, it's got to be done by me. And the reality of that is impossible, right? We can't be the director of operations, director of sales, the lister, the buyer, the lead generator, the super mom, the super wife, and the PTA.
So many things.
The laundry folder,
And do the dishes.
And do the dishes. Oh my gosh.
And so I feel like it was really, I did two things when this transformed for me. It was actually after we had our first little boy grandson. And at that time, I was still in that mindset of trying to figure out how the heck do I get to be a mom and still be super successful, because I value both. And I remember sitting down with a blank calendar, like one of those like weeks at a glance, where it's like 15-minute chunks. And I basically wrote out my ideal life on paper. Like, what would I want my perfect week to look like, including work, family, everything I love, everything that I'm obligated to. And I put it all down on paper. And then I decided to choose to make that work. And that meant I had to take some things off my plate. And so I became a huge fan of delegation and hiring things out for things that I don't have to directly do. And it allowed me to duplicate myself and, really only put my energy into the things that bring me joy.
That is so well said.
I know.
That is so well said, because what I've been thinking about is what in my life, because I think we all tend to have that same personality as, go big or go home. And I said, well, I tried to pinpoint why you were talking, because I've experienced that shift too. And I'm like, why is it different then and now? And two things I heard you say. One, you decided, but I bet you the other thing is, at least for me, it was understanding and acknowledging who I am and who I'm not, right? Because if I'm not, whatever that is, why am I doing anything that makes me look like that? Take it away so that I can be who I am. So I have dates with my husband literally every day, because we value that right under God, right? That was a decision. And I don't care if someone says every day, don't you think that's a bit excessive? No, I'm excessive, right? That's me. So I love the way you're articulating the way that you're explaining those decisions that you make. And you're right. That's an abundant mindset. That's a decision, and you can have it all.
And what a good exercise for everyone to go out and do. And if you haven't, like, I kind of feel like I just want to get off this call and go get my calendar and like
Make your
rewrite.
ideal life.
And I feel like that changes too. Like I know sometimes like I'll go into this, like, this is what my ideal schedule looks like. And then all of a sudden, like you veer off of it. So I feel like it's something you should update constantly.
Oh yeah, as your seasons change, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And with kids, isn't it crazy? I feel like your season changes every 6 months practically.
Oh my gosh.
It's so true.
Wait, so can you tell us what like your ideal schedule says?
Yeah. So, one thing that I really, really value is my personal time in the morning. So, like my quiet time, I just hate to be rushed. And I have pinpointed some things that help me be at peace. And so that's the first thing that's always on my schedule is my quiet time, which means like I have about an hour and a half every morning where, all of that goes: prayer, coffee, quiet time, meditation, exercise, and just getting myself in a happy, joyful place. And then I wake up my kids and do all that. And then I have time blocked every single day for intentional family time. Right now, we're in a new season because both my kids just started going to childcare. So I have a lot more free time all of a sudden. But before, I would basically take before, meaning like a couple weeks ago, I would take like nap times, and those were my 2 work time pockets through the day. And then I would have my baby time the rest of the day. So it changes. I mean, now I feel like I'm kind of excited because my kids are going to be having a lot of fun in childcare, and I'm going to be filling up a lot more work time in the schedule intentionally. And every Thursday we have our date day planned.
You're like, ah!
I know. It's so nice when you
so
get that
nice.
time. You're like, wait, this is like the
There's
most.
so many hours in the day.
I'm literally like, what do I do? I have so many hours. I can literally do everything.
I always think about like, what did I do before I had kids? Like I had so much time on my hands.
I think the funniest thing when we talk to women is if you talk to like, as people grow, they're in school, they're in college, they get married, they have kids, they get whatever. They're like, I didn't think I get any busier. I thought I was busy before. I had all the time in the world.
I know.
I
know.
And you know what? I just have to say, because a friend of mine, we were talking about that the other day. She doesn't have kids, and she was like, and I remember saying the exact same thing. I was like, what? Oh my gosh, I am so busy, even though I didn't have kids. And other moms would be like, you have no idea.
I know.
And she was like, well, I do all these things, right? I'm busy, I do all these things. And I was like, here's why moms feel like they're busy, because we do momming and we also do all those things you just listed.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's crazy.
I know. And it is so, when you just said that, I could see like some, like these like darting eyes, like angry. Like, oh, you're busy.
Really? Let's not go.
So will you share with us you're still a new agent, but you're like succeeding so fast. What would you say some of the like lessons you've learned that you want to share with maybe a newer agent out there? Like what tips would you give them?
So I think one thing that was a big learning process for me getting into real estate was really knowing and embracing the reality that real estate is a long-term game in a lot of situations, right? It's not necessarily, sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not that you're going to meet someone today, they buy a house tomorrow, and bam, you got paid. And so I had to really shift my mindset with that of like, okay, I'm doing work today, and it's going to probably show up in 6 months or a year. And so one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give any new agent is you have got to, number one, make a clear plan that is doable for you, that you're excited about. Meaning if you want to, door knock and call FSBOs, or if you never want to do that, or if you want to do social media, whatever it is for you, open houses, make your plan that you can be excited about, that you can do consistently. That's the key, is you've got to choose something that you can do consistently day in and day out without stopping. And that's really what has driven all of our momentum. Is I joined my husband, and basically we sat down together and made a system, and I just implemented it like relentlessly, relentlessly.
I'm not surprised.
Trusting that eventually it would pay off.
That's awesome advice for sure. I love 2 parts that you said to it. One, create the activities that you can be excited about over a long period of time.
Yes.
And then be relentless about it. And so I bet you the audience who's listening will agree with me right now that you're amazing. Like the way you articulate things, you got to tell us something you struggle with, or we're going to just think, I feel so small. Tell us something that's a really big struggle in your life and how you're working through that.
I think that probably one of the things that I struggle with that I've really had to learn how to manage over the years is that drive to achieve. And what I mean, I don't know if you guys are into the Enneagram or not.
Oh my gosh, we had a whole conversation about this last night. What are you? Are you an 8?
I'm a 3.
Are you?
What's a 3?
An achiever.
What is it?
It's an achiever.
Is it?
Wait, then I should be a 3. I don't understand.
So, and that's I love doing those things, right? I'm a 3. It just means I'm wired to achieve and work and like actually enjoy working and all that stuff. But also that means that I struggle with burnout. And if I don't force, like I literally have to schedule in fun and family time and dates, because if I don't, I will just go till I can't go anymore. And then I will just, disappear for 4 days. So for me, I think that's why I am so serious about consistency. I would rather do a little bit every single day consistently than go, blitz for 2 weeks, because the start stop mentality is what gets people stuck so much. And you can't build momentum when you're starting and stopping all the time.
Wow, that's true. That is true. Now I'm like wondering why I'm not a 3, because
you're an 8, right?
I think I'm an 8. I don't know the Enneagram as well as I know the disc profile. I like the disc profile because it's simple.
You're probably a D, right?
Off the charts.
Well, since she's been best friends with me, she now has an I.
I do. Since I closed down my brokerage and moved to EXP, and since I let her be my friend, because I'm not very good at that.
She all of a sudden likes people.
I have like fun now. I'm kind of fun now when I wasn't really fun before.
Yeah. Her and her husband redid the disc profile like a couple weeks ago, and they both had more I, and I was like, you're welcome.
So true.
That's so funny. My husband is actually an 8, so I know all about it. You're a really strong leader and really to the point, probably.
Absolutely.
Both of those things. I'm an 8, but we were talking last night, and I don't think I'm a true 8. I don't know. I need to like dive into that. But the people I was with last night were like, I don't think you're a true 8. I think that you can like mold into what you think you should be. And I think my whole life has been like, you work hard. And so that's what I do. But I don't know. So anyways, I need to retake it.
Have a glass of wine and then retake it.
Oh, gosh.
I'd be interested if you're an 8 wing of a 7, because a 7 is like the party and the fun. So
yeah, I'm like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun. So, okay, what other things do we need to go over? That was like we just went down a rabbit trail. I apologize.
I know. You have been such a great guest. I'm so glad you came on.
Yeah, thank you so much. I might re-listen to this one. We never re-listen to our shows.
Well, and I honestly think you need to come out and speak at one of our events sometime, because you are really, really good.
Okay, we won't put you on the spot at this very moment, but we might when we stop recording.
So if you guys are out there listening, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is the next Flourish date, and you can always go to theflourishevent.com and find out when the next date is.
Yes, get your tickets. Last time there were too many people who waited to the last minute and couldn't get in.
I know.
So if you are passionate and it's worth it to come to that event, just go. The tickets are open. Just don't be one of those people who try to text me at the last minute. Can't you get me in? Don't put that pressure on me. Just get your ticket early.
And make it a girls trip. Grab a bunch of girls in real estate and come to Arizona.
Yes, it's beautiful here. Laurie, thank you so much. Honestly, that was such a great episode.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored, and I truly hope it can inspire and encourage somebody out there.
Oh, you are going
to. Don't you worry about that. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and God bless you.